Welcome to Bella in Your Business. My name is Bella Vasta, and today I've got a really cool story for you. Have you ever wondered, how can you get free publicity? How can you get free marketing in your area? I am going to be joined today by Regina, and she is, oh my gosh, it's been so exciting to watch her. She is a stellar pet sitting business owner, dog walker extraordinaire, growing her business. We first met on Instagram like about a year ago, I think it was. And that's how we kind of started our relationship. She also has been listening to this podcast too, which is really cool. And she's become a Better Marketing with Bella member as well. And that's kind of where this story is going to lead today, because she messaged me today, you guys, and was like, oh my gosh, I got great news. And she started telling me about it. And it is such a good story that you guys are going to be in for a treat today, because this is something that every single one of you guys can do right now to get free publicity, marketing, and connections with your company. So without further ado, welcome to the show.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you here. Why don't you give our listeners a little bit of a background about who you are, where you're located, what your company is, and what stage of the game you're in.
So my name is Regina Robinson, and I own a pet sitting and dog walking business in Gaithersburg, Maryland. And we focus on the mind, body, and spirit of your pet, because just like your child, you're like your fur child, you need to have a well-rounded approach in terms of your care for them. So that's what we specialize in. And let's see, what was the other thing you asked me?
How long you've been in business?
Okay. So yeah. I've been in business since 2017. And I've just entered my second semester with Better Marketing with Bella, and it's been a game changer. So first start with saying that.
That's awesome. So you first, tell me about your experience, because you first got into my ecosystem, I like to call it. It was through the podcast, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was like I had been, I don't know, I think it was like 2018 where I really started getting into podcast learning, because I was like, you know what, I'm out on the road and I'm walking dogs and I really can't sit and read a lot of books. So I was like, I need to feed my brain with some really, inspiring things about the business and the industry that I'm in. And I was just, first of all, I was blown away, because I was like, okay, this is exactly what I was looking for, first of all. And second, I just really loved your personality. And I was like, yeah, that's the kind of people that, and you're the kind of person I've been looking for in the industry that is a people person, because, like you've said before, and I think is very true, we have to be people as well as dog people and cat people, because that's who our clients are. So like you said, I found you on Instagram after I started listening to your podcast, and I started like this whole rant about on my story, and I was like, you guys need to listen to Bella. Like, this girl, she knows what she's talking about. And I was just super jazzed. And then I was even more taken aback when you added it to your story, and I was like, oh my gosh, she sees me. So excited.
Which I think is a really cool lesson in itself for anyone listening right now. First of all, yeah, I will always do that. I get so flattered and also so humbled and excited when I hear that people are actually listening to this podcast. Yeah. I have these numbers that come in that, we're approaching our 200th episode almost, and that we've got over 93,000 downloads, but I don't necessarily hear from those people all the time. So when you posted that Instagram story and tagged me, I was outside of myself, excited. And so of course I'm going to do that. So not only were you like, oh my gosh, she reposted it, I'm like, oh my gosh, she listens. So if there's any listeners out there, go ahead and let me know that you're listening too, and let us know what your biggest takeaway is from today, because I'm sure Regina would also love to know. So I want to give them the full understanding of how we got to where you are today with the story you're about to tell. So I can imagine it was probably pretty scary when I was first like, girl, you should totally do Better Marketing with Bella. And you're like, well, so do you remember what went through your mind there, and what maybe your trepidations were, and then what made you jump, as we say?
So I think the biggest thing in my mind that was where I was not making the connection right away was I was like, you know what? I'm I have social media and I have Instagram, and I'm kind of doing stuff on there. I'm kind of doing stuff on Facebook. And I've just learned it's you opened up a can of worms, and I was like, okay, there's so much I don't know. And now that I know, what I don't know, now I need to take it, a step further and implement it. And just being out in the field and doing all the walking and like, everything on my own was just like, where am I going to find the time? I can't make graphics. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. And it was actually, I don't remember which podcast it was, but there's one podcast where you talked about, you can't do everything. And what you're doing in your business, like, unless you're just really great at marketing naturally and you know how to make graphics, you can't do it all. So I was like, what the heck am I even thinking? Of course I need somebody, I need to outsource this, and I need to learn, what I don't know. So that was really the stepping stone. I was like, all right, I need to get this under control because I want to grow.
Yeah. And I love it. I love it that you've been with us for more than one semester. It just kind of keeps going, because not only does our relationship continue to grow, but we continue to be able to support you and learn from, I learn from you just as much as you learn from me, but it's really cool when we get to keep that relationship going. So we are at this recording. You might not be listening like today, but it is currently May 2020. And we are in the middle of COVID, and the states are all just some of them are starting to open up, but man, oh man, we have been through hell. If you are listening to this in the future, many pet sitting and dog walking businesses have been shut down completely for weeks, or not shut down, but operating at like 10 or 25% of their normal stuff. It's been very, very tough times. And because of that, Better Marketing with Bella kind of came up, we decided, we had two options. One, we could say something like, all right, guys, and we could do what software companies have been doing in the industry. Okay, guys, we're going to just discount your next payment for 15% and you're on your own. Or we could come alongside you and just like overdose you with value, create this pop-up challenge group, or pop-up groups where we were supporting you, a challenge group to help you with grand reopenings. And then with Better Marketing Bella, we gave you guys a 10-page blueprint on step-by-step what to do with templates and wording and all kinds of things. And it was 3 different levels of awesomeness. And the reason why we're here today, you guys, is because Regina took that awesomeness and went out of orbit. And what she's in the middle of right now is so cool. She's actually in the middle of this. I'm going to turn it over to her, let you tell everyone what you did, including, I think it's important, the haters. That weird phone call that you got. I want you to tell our listeners about that, because I don't want them to think that everything comes so completely easy and smooth, right?
No.
So, because these are challenges of being a business owner. So I'm going to stop talking and I want you to take it from, you got this marketing blueprint, and then.
Okay, so actually it started slightly before the blueprint, when it was I think it was maybe it was in your I don't know, the challenge, COVID challenge, or whatever
group.
Yes, and somebody mentioned the sidewalk chalk game, and I was like, but me, I'm like, my little listening ears popped up, and I was like, okay, how do I do this? I need to get started. And I sat on it for a couple of weeks, because I was like, I don't really know, I don't want to have a misstep and miss a big opportunity in making this as big as it can be, because I just saw a lot of potential.
Idea at that point. And we all have ideas, right? That's the thing. We've got all these ideas and all this information coming at us, but the exact way of how to implement step 1, step 2, step 3, do this, go here, get that. That's the challenging part, especially when we're all in fight or flight right now. People are fight, flight, or stick their head in the sand because it's so stressful, this COVID stuff. Sorry,
100%. So then once we got it was our May Better Marketing with Bella package, it had a whole blueprint, and it told us step by step, here's what I need to do to make this amazing. And you're right, there is a whole lot of analysis paralysis going on, in terms of just people being stressed out and 1,000 things flying in your own head. And that's kind of where I was at. So it was I was getting annoyed with myself, because I'm like, I'm stalling. Why am I stalling? And then that came, and I was like, oh, well, here's the whole well-rounded package of how to do it. So, okay. Do you want me to describe what the game is? And okay.
Yeah, go for it. Just flow, girl.
So the idea is, you, within your community, you create a little sidewalk chalk, almost like a scavenger hunt type of a game. You draw paw prints in different locations leading up to something like a selfie spot, or in my case, I made a sign. Oh gosh, you're gonna see a reflection. But I made a sign,
I want to
and
picture that so I can put it in the show notes for those who are listening and not watching.
sure, yeah. And so
Yeah.
this was like the end point of where you would follow the paw prints, and then the idea was to, simply just take a picture with your pup, tag hashtag outward bound hounds, just so that I would be able to find the people who are playing the game.
And let me read it for those who are listening.
Sure.
It says, she has this awesome like laminated thing, and it says, "You found it. Take a selfie with your pup. Hashtag outward bound hounds, and you'll be entered to win a prize." And it's like this beautiful, it actually looks like a sidewalk chalk background. It's really, really cool. Go on.
Oh, thank you. So the idea was to then so we'll talk about the prize part, because the idea was you take your picture, you post it on social, and then you get entered to win a prize. And something that, I don't know, we've been hearing all of these like talks about how do we restart our local economies and things like that. And I just I'm so big on small business, and I was like, this really seems like something that I should bring to my community. And so I started reaching out to local businesses to be sponsors each week for the prizes that would be distributed. So
What did you think was going to happen, and what actually happened?
okay, so I'm just thinking, I'm drawing, sidewalk chalk, I'm drawing little paws on the ground, and I just thought, guys, we're like having Groundhog Day here, okay? So like you're walking around, you're doing the same things over and over again. So these are just like little bright spots in somebody's day that you'd say, oh wow, what? There's paw prints on the ground, and I just thought I would be bringing some joy to my community. So the day after I set up the game, I received a call from somebody, and they didn't identify themselves. They just asked me, "Are you Outward Bound Hounds?" And I was like, "Oh yes, this is Regina." And he just went into a bit of a tirade of, well, you can't be drawing with sidewalk chalk on the ground, and because it's the property of the city. And I was like, it's sidewalk chalk, and I'm so sorry if that. But then he started talking about, well, I'm gonna have to write you a citation, and he's asking me for my email address to email me the citation. And I was freaked out. I was like, oh my gosh, this is the first time I try to like make a community-wide game, and I was super stoked about it. And then he starts, kind of like coming after me, and I was kind of like, at first I was like, okay, what do I do? Do I just take it down? Do I just give up? And then I was like, you know what? Like, no, because here's the thing. My intention going into it was just so much bigger than the one complaint. And I was like, I'm not hurting anybody. And I know that this is something that people need right now. It's just some bright spots in their day. So I just stuck with that. And I said, all right, well, we're going to keep it going. If he is legit and he's going to give me a formal complaint, then so be it. I'll handle it. It's kind of like, do it first, ask for forgiveness later. And I just, never heard anything else from him. So, I don't know if he's a legit, whatever, works for the city, something like that. But my feeling, and when I was talking to a couple other people, their feelings is that he's just a grumpy person. And, it's like, this makes me upset that people might be happy about something right now. So.
Yeah, amen. Yeah. So the point of that, guys, is that sometimes you're going to get trolls or you're going to get pushback. I mean, who knows? It could have even been like another pet sitter that was jealous of you. And when you reached out to me, I was like, that sounds a little weird. I'd wait till you get the actual email, because what city person is going to track you down and call you up and ask for your email address to send you a citation? Like, come on. You know what I mean? But it's scary at first, because you're like, whatever. But continue on, because you didn't let that get you down, and something amazing happened, and that's why we're here today. So what happened when you started getting entries?
Okay, so I started getting a couple of entries here and a couple entries there. And the thing was, like, when I had set it up and I'd actually like seen people, on their walks with their dogs, and people like seemed to be like, oh wow, it's such a cute idea. And I wasn't getting as much, as many entries as I thought, for the amount of people I know that walk homeless cats. So I started to get discouraged. And then in the back of my head is that voice of that guy that's, yelling at me on the phone. So I started getting really bummed out, and I was like, well, I tried. Like, the worst that could happen is whatever. Like, it, just goes unnoticed, just a little blip. Who cares? We'll move on. Then I get a very excited text message from actually a local pet sitter dog walker that I know. And she tells me that one of the people that she knows, because she shared it on her page just to, help me out. Yeah. So I'm like, we're a really nice little network. We support each other. And she says, oh my gosh. So I got a text message with a picture, and there's a woman, she sends me this selfie where this woman had taken a picture with the paw prints. She's like, I found the paw prints. I found the paw prints. I was like, she said, I've been looking for them, for all week. And she got so excited. And I was like, oh my gosh, well, okay, so she's the perfect person, to win this prize because she gets it.
Yeah.
I have a phone conversation with her, and then here's when it gets even more exciting. She's super, super stoked that she wins the prize. This is after I announced that she won. She's, I'm like, she's just over the moon that she won something. Then I tell her what the prize is. And so the prize for this week was a pop-up DJ party, social distancing DJ party, because one of my friends and local business owners owns a company called A Squad Entertainment. And he had agreed to do this pop-up party because he's been doing the same thing for like birthdays and graduations, and just so that people are not missing out on some of the joy that they can have right now. So yeah. I was like, that's so amazing. She gets excited. She lives in an apartment community, and she says, okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna talk to the apartment manager, and I'm gonna see, would they be interested in having us? Because of course we have to ask for permission. We're not just gonna show up and be loud. That would be rude.
That you might really get a citation for.
Right, exactly. That might really get me in trouble. So then she says, well, she calls me back today and she says, oh, Regina, I got to tell you, the apartment complex, when I talked to the manager, she says that they actually were already planning on doing something like this for the apartment community, and they are so on board. They're working towards getting sponsors for food and like making this big thing. They're gonna let all of the people in the apartment community know. And I just like my jaw about hit the floor. I was like, are you serious? Like I knew it had potential, but I never dreamed that it would be able to reach that many people and get that many people excited and involved. So just really, really like happy I didn't give up.
So the most amazing thing about this is it's not about the numbers, you guys. Mm-mm. And that's why we say like your Instagram, your Facebook, it's not about the numbers, it's about the engagement that happens. And so you were nice and kind enough to, first of all, leverage your community relationships to get all these different prizes. I'm sure, what other prizes did you get for this kind of thing?
So I've got a couple other things that come in the form of like, I have somebody who is she does custom hair care stuff. So she's going to do like a little consultation and then like be able to deliver some product to them, which nice. I just think is amazing. It's like, vegan.
Especially right now.
Stuff. Yeah, I know. Quarantine situation. But like any little spot of beauty that you can have, and then I have a photographer friend that is going to be doing like little like mini sessions, like a photo shoot. I mean, that costs a lot of money. And now I think because of having all of this happen, one thing that we can kind of look back and think about is that, like having connections and building experiences with your family and capturing those moments are super important. So I just thought, that would be something like really sweet. And then there's a couple of things that I've thrown in there, but I'm cool. I am looking for a couple more sponsors, but we'll see. Maybe after this party,
I'm sure you will. So the cool thing that I'm hearing is that you basically became a facilitator of happy experiences while leveraging your community relationships. And all it takes is just asking someone, hey, you got something free that I can promote for you? Maybe we'll jump on a Facebook Live and I'll let everyone know if you find these paw prints, you take the selfie, you tag us, we'll enter you into this, I mean, that's all it is. You are fostering relationships, and these people, whether new clients, whether people that are just like, oh, you're a cool business, or someone who sees it online happening, maybe they don't even participate. What's happening is that your brand, your logo, your feeling of what you do for the community is coming across in a way that people will remember that the next time they need or know someone who needs pet care. They're going to think of you because you're building relationships. And I just love that. And I also love that it just takes one meeting. It just takes one person, and you have no idea how far or long that relationship will go. Now, when you do this, I told you when we do this recording, I also wanted to give you some more ideas, because
Yes.
I think that what would be kind of neat is a couple things. One, if you actually asked this apartment complex if you could do a mini sidewalk chalk thing, where you actually do a paw print somewhere hidden on their thing or within a mile radius of their complex, maybe. That would be kind of cool. And you do it like, you could tag that apartment complex and your business, so now it's gamifying, but it's also attracting the pet parents that are in there. Not only that, but that entire complex will now start essentially advertising for you for free, because most of them have like an online portal that like people go and they pay their bill, or they have like their own little chat group, or they have a Facebook group. They have a way of communicating with their residents. And so this could be so amazing, because you could just do it for them. That's how I would do it. I would ask that introduction. I would ask them how you can come alongside, and then I would continue that relationship and say, like, every time they have, obviously they like doing events or something, and every time they have an event or they need a raffle or they need a gift certificate, to think of you because you'll be there.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's a great idea.
Yeah. So, I mean, why not, if they're so gung-ho about this whole thing, make one up for them. And then how great is that when you saturate a market and you have all those things, and then you can start marketing to them about the things of, you don't want your dog to bother your neighbor because it's high density living, or maybe you are going away for a long time, or maybe you're going to that Memorial Day barbecue all day long and need someone to let the dog out, so you can really kind of expand on that. But the biggest thing is just showing people you care, and that's what you did. You did it scared, like we talked about in the pre-interview, and I just want to challenge everyone listening. Do something scared, because you never know what's going to happen. And then don't let trolls divert you and make you go hide in a hole. Because I mean, it's one thing if an officer shows up at your door, you guys. I'm not telling you to break the law, because I know some people listening are going to go, Bella, that's tagging and that's vandalism. It's sidewalk chalk, guys. Like, kids do it. I'm not telling you to get out the spray paint and go tag a building. So I really wanted to celebrate you on that. Thank you for saying yes to be on this podcast. I know that you are inspiring a lot of other people. I want to leave you with the final words. Where do you think this is going to go, or what has this taught you about just guerrilla marketing or just marketing with your business?
So, I mean, it definitely has been a learning experience of how to like conceptualize all of the different possibilities. And I mean, it's a simple concept. Like, you draw some paw prints on the ground, you make a sign, say, tag me. And, I just never imagined that there would be something that could be so big, like, and festive like this. But it also has taught me how to reach out to the people in my community, because so many people are interested in, collaborating with something, especially small businesses right now. Mm-hmm. So I encourage you, if you are feeling like you're sitting on this idea, you're not sure what to do, and you're not, motivating yourself to get out there, try it. The worst that can happen is somebody says no, or some troll comes up and then you have to say, oh, well, and it's just all a learning process. So get out there, try it for yourself.
Absolutely. And as you're talking, I'm thinking of the listeners that are wondering, like, hey, I want to do what Regina did, but like Regina, I have no idea what the steps are. And although this was only intended for Better Marketing with Bella, you guys have now had a head start on it for 6 weeks. We are coming out of COVID. So I've just made the idea, as I'm listening to you, that we will put it up on the website as a class that you can purchase. So in the show notes, we'll put it down there. You guys can purchase it. But of course, if you're in Better Marketing with Bella, you already got it for free. So you guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. Go ahead and tag us and let Regina and myself know what stood out to you, or maybe what changed your mindset a little bit, because we thrive off of this. This is why we do it. We do it for you guys. And so thank you so much for just coming on with me and doing this, Regina. You are the best.
Absolutely.
And I feel like I know you because of our Facebooks or our Instagram stories. So keep it up. You're doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
Everyone, I want to make sure that you remember life is tough right now, but we can all get through it. It's all about your mindset. And I want to remind you that when life gets you down, you always keep jumping.